Hi everyone, this is MJ for my paper journey. Welcome, and I just want to say hi to my sister Frankie. Hi Jenny, and hi Eileen. Hi Elena. Anyways, I'm here to share with you a little bit that I've been working on, and I've been doing these little hearts with rhinestones, decorations that you can use on your junk journals or on cards. Birthday cards, Valentine cards. I didn't really started making the hearts for Valentine's, but then I thought, oh, Valentine's is coming soon next month. So I thought, okay, well, we can use it for that. But that wasn't really my intention originally. I guess I like hearts. And I just started making them, but I wanted to make them like a 3D. So they're puffy. They're not overly, they're not that stuffed. And this was a hair piece that I had, and I just kind of broke it apart. It was like this. So I took it apart, and here's the other half of it. So I made them out of paper, and I made them out of fabric. Now on this one, this is fabric, and then I used the Tim Holtz Distress ink to kind of shabby up a little bit, and I used embroidery thread and I sewed around it, and then I sewed on the piece because there was, I don't know if you can see here, some of the thread that shows where I sewed it, and I also did use a little bit of glue on the back after I sewed it. And then it has a ball pin so you can hang it at the edge of a page. This one's made out of paper, and this is just some metallic silver trim that I bought, that I found at a thrift store. It was just a little piece, not that big, and it was like a grab bag. So I used it on this. This is made out of book page. And this one here, I had this kitty cat fabric, and I don't know. I saw it while I was looking through my stuff, and I said, oh, I'll make a fabric heart out of it. And this is a little crochet flower that I crocheted, and I stitched around it. And I'm going to be showing you both ways, how I made the paper heart and how I made the fabric heart. And this one is made out of paper, but when I sandwiched both paper, I glued on a piece of fabric, and then I followed the shape of the heart, leaving a little border around it, and then I just shabbied it up a little bit. And that's what I did on this. And then this is a little some clip art that I have, and I also used on this one, I didn't use embroidery thread. I used actually the cotton crochet, the number 10 size cotton crochet thread. That's what I used on this one. And then this one is paper, and I put lace over it, and then I trimmed around it, and then I just added little rhinestones on this. And this one here is a little crochet doily that I crocheted, and the pattern I found that on Pinterest. And I have another one somewhere here. Oh, here we go. This is what it looked like. Kind of like a square. But when I placed it, I kind of brought it down so I could have this showing and just a little bit on top. Okay, so that's what I did. And then this is a clip art that I had. I don't remember where I got that. And I put a little bit of, it's not cheesecloth. It's a sheer fabric. It's a curtain that I found, a sheer curtain that I found at a thrift store. And so I just cut a little piece around it and then glued it on to to this clip art, and then glued it to the heart. And then I put little rhinestones. And these rhinestones I got, where are they at? These right here. I got these on eBay. I think if you search for rhinestones, flat backs, and then you'll get all sorts of them. And this one here is made out of paper as well. And then I put the sequins trimmed around it. Well, first I put some sheer lace, and then the sequins around it. And this one is all, I think this is the very first one. Oops, out of frame. This is the very first one that I made. It's made out of fabric. And then this is part of a top that I found at a thrift store that is a crochet top. So I cut a piece and then I added the little rhinestone. Sorry, I keep getting out of frame. So that was the very first one. So after I made this, then I just kind of carried away and made these other ones. And this one here I use the paper. This one I didn't sew around. I just glued, and I glued on the sheer fabric lace, kind of like this type of lace. I used this trim here on this one over here. See? I think this is the second one I made, and I just put a rhinestone there. And I didn't sew around this one either. This is paper, book paper. And then, well, this one had like little scrolls, so I just kind of followed it with the sequins trim. Follow the scrolls on it. So that's what I did on this one. And this one is the last one I made. I put rhinestones and a little bit of decoupage, a little bit of that lace. I don't know if my tablet is focusing. And then I place a little rhinestone. But I like this lace, or sheer lace. It's left over from that piece of lace that I have here. I thought this was kind of cute. The little ruffles there. And oh yeah, and this one's made out of fabric. This was a blouse that I found, and I sewed around it with a no, I didn't. It's not embroidery thread. I used again the cotton, the size 10 cotton crochet. I just made sure that my needle had a hole big enough so that I could thread it through. And then this is something that I have this font, so I have words that I printed out, and it says there journal, and I just distress the ends around it. And then this is the crewel embroidery thread. This is not really the regular embroidery thread that you tear apart, and then you can remove some of the strands. This is a one solid. It almost looks like the size of the size 10 crochet cotton thread, but it's not. It's for crewel embroidery. So I made a double bow and put a rhinestone there. And then I just kind of clipped the ends and shabbied it up a little bit. I don't know if you can see, but that's what I did. And this one's a little bit not as flat, but it has a little bit of dimension, if you can see. And I'm not sure of the size of these. I forgot to get a ruler and measure the size, but they're about 2.5 inches. And then the small ones, they're about 1.5 inches. The little hearts. I just freeform cut the size of it, so I didn't use a pattern. So that's what I did. And oh yeah, I have some pages here that I'm working on, so I just wanted to show you what they would look like pinned on end of a ruffle journal page. If I can do this. See how pretty it looks hanging on the page? So that's what I did on this. And of course you can use them like hanging off of the tassel, you know, the end of, you can use these, hang them, because they're, you know, they're 3D. They have a, you know, they have a little bit of a form on them. So, or you can do them flat, and then just like I did here on this page, and I just glued it on page, and then this is a pocket that I did. So you can do them like this. You don't have to do, you know, stuff them with the cotton balls. That's what I used. Yeah. So let's get started. And it's really simple. Really is nothing all complicated. Now I'm recording in a different angle so that I got my babies over there. They're laying down somewhere. Charlie, stay over there, Papa, okay? So anyways, let's get started. Let's set these aside. And now what you're going to need is some cardstock. But what I have, you know, what I had readily available for me to use was index cards. So that's what I did. That's what I used. And then of course you're going to cut out a pattern, you're going to use glue or whatever glue of your choice. I happen to have the art glitter glue, some tweezers, some distress ink, and that's optional if you want to distress the edges, and some rhinestones, and some fabric, some embroidery thread, and some needles, of course. I happen to have my needles right here. And doilies or paper doily. I have a piece of paper doily here, or whatever you want to use. Use whatever you have. I happen to have this on hand, and to be honest with you, a lot of these little rhinestones and stuff I hadn't used. I had them stored for a while, so I had them, and I said, hey, I might as well use them. The hairpiece that I used and I took apart, this is a hair clip. I bought it a couple of years ago, and I thought I could use it when my daughter got married, but I didn't. I forgot to take him with me when she got married, so they stayed, and they're really cheapy and expensive. I got these on eBay, so you know, it didn't bother me to take it apart. So that's what I have, and that's what I used. So let's get started. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. I'll leave this here because I need it. So then what I did, like I said, I freeformed the heart. I didn't draw it out or anything. Oh yeah, you'll need a pencil. And I'll show you when you'll need the pencil. So this is what I did. To make the small one, okay, and I just freeformed it. And this is what I came up with. Now this is not the small one. This one kind of looks like, almost like the big size, not quite. And let me make a smaller one. And I just fold the index card in half. So this is a small one. See, this is what you have, the negative, but we don't need that. So then what I did next, let's do the paper first. Now, this is book paper, and these are pretty thick. So if your book pages are rather thin, especially if you decide to use a dictionary paper, those pages are really thin. So you might want to, ahead of time, use glue stick and glue 2 pages at a time. But this paper happens to be pretty sturdy and thick, so I don't need to do that. So, but I do need 2 of them, because one for the front and one for the back. So then I'm gonna get my my pencil, and now if you notice, there's like a blank space in between each of the paragraphs in the book, but that's okay. I'll slant this so I can get most of the writing on the heart. Or maybe oh, there we go. Yeah. So then I just traced around it. Like so. And then you get your scissors. Want to make sure my papers are and then you just cut and follow your the outline of the heart that you just traced. So I hope you all are doing well. I think I'm finally feeling pretty well. I had the bug. It didn't hit me very hard because I do on a regular basis try to drink lemongrass tea, and I know that it's helped me with my immune system. My husband really got sick, and he wasn't doing too well, but now he's good. But unfortunately, now my oldest son, is sick, and he just started a new job on Monday, so I feel for him. I'm just trimming off the ends here a little bit, because I didn't do, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's not that bad, is it? Okay, so then the next thing I do is, now, because you cut this, you want to make sure that when you glue this, that the same side, even though you use the pattern, but let's face it, we don't all cut the same. So this side may not match over on this side if you flip it over like this. So you want to make sure you keep both side up, the top sides up. Sorry, I keep getting out of frame. You know, both ways. So that way when you flip this over to glue, they're both going to match. Okay? So then I'm going to get my glue next. I'm running kind of a little bit out of glue. I got glue all over my hands. And I'm going to, oops, that's a little bit more than I want. So I'm going to see if I can spread it over to this side. And you're not going to glue the whole thing. You want to leave a gap, so when it dries up, okay, got a little bit too much glue. Oh, I don't want any glue in there because I don't want to glue my hearts together. I'll put some more glue over here. Okay. Now this is the top. Make sure you don't flip it, okay? Keep the same sides together and then place the other heart like that. And you let this dry. Okay, the good thing about the art glitter glue that it does dry pretty fast. But not fast enough for me to stuff it, okay? So make sure you remember to leave. And I left about 1.5 inches or so without any glue. So that's what you do next. So I'm going to set this aside and let this dry up. Now I do have a heart. And then after it dries up, I do have a here. This is a small one that I already had pre-done before the video, so I can show you. Now this is a smaller one than the one that we just cut. And then the next thing you do is distress it. Okay. And like I said, that's optional. Now, I'm not going to distress the back just yet because I distress the top side so I'll know. Because what I do is I try, whenever I was making these, I found that it was easier for me to remember the side, pick a side that you want to be able to stuff. Since I'm right-handed, if you're left-handed, you might want to leave the left side unglued without any glue, open. Leave the opening on your left side. If you're right-handed, leave it on the right side. Since I'm right-handed, so and the reason why I didn't distress the back, so I know which side is the top side, and then that way I know that this side, be on the right side, is my opening, because I try to be consistent. Every heart that I made, paper or fabric, I left the opening on the right side. So if I distress this and I put it down, then I'm going to be looking and see, okay, which one is glued and which is not. So that's the reason why. So that's just a little tip. Now, if you have other methods of doing your work, then it's fine. And then the next thing we do is, and I just got these. I had my son bought these, and he bought this bag at the Dollar Tree. Now this is really small. I'm not even going to use a whole cotton ball. And then open it up. These happen to open up in a, I guess when the fabric, when they make these, they roll them up. So these are easy to take apart. And then get a little piece at a time. I got glue on my finger, so it's sticking on my finger. And then stuff it in there gently. Like so. You see? Just a little bit, not a lot. And then I'm gonna stuff it up there. We don't want to put too much because we don't want it to be too bulky, too fat, because then it's going to take up a lot of room in your journal. So that's about right. So I'm going to get the glue. And then I'm just going to put a bead around the edge here on the bottom. And I'm just going to hold it for a few seconds till it grabs onto the... Now sometimes you'll have a little bit of that cotton that just wants to run off to the edge there. So push it back in and then just hold it. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why aren't you using the hot glue? Well, hot glue, the glue leaves a lot of gunk. You know, it dries up and it's a lot. And second, hot glue gun does not like me. I always burn my fingers and I hate that. And good thing about the glitter glue, it really grabs right away and it dries fast. So that's what I like. I mean, I had put enough here. Let me put a little bit more. I broke my nail yesterday all the way across, halfways, and then I glued it on and I patched it up. I put super glue and then a little bit of tissue paper and then a little bit more super glue and let it dry, and then I filed it down and polished my nails, and it was really nice and it was fine. And then this morning, I forget what the gate, when I closed it, I slammed it and it cracked all the way across, almost to the other side. So I just put super glue on it on top, so it looks ugly now. But hey, I saved my nail for now. So okay, so this is, now it's ready for you to decorate it, and I'll show you how I did with this. Now this is very so if you have like a sheer lace or fabric, you can use that, but you can use any kind of sheer, or or you can just choose to use paper doily. So why don't we do that? Because we may not all have this. But I think we all know how to do the paper doily, how to decoupage. I want to show you, if you do have this, how I did the process on that. So let me put glue. Then I just put glue all around it, the edges. Put that down. And I think I want the little flower there. I forgot to check if I had the right side up with the fabric or not. So like so. And you let this dry. Now I don't have my heat gun. I should have thought of it, but I didn't. I was gonna go over to my mom's today. I take care of my mom, but the apartment where she lives, they turned the water off. So she left and went to go stay at my aunt's house while they work on the plumbing at her apartment. So she said I didn't have to go over today. So that's the reason I'm doing this video today. And so it was totally unplanned. In a way, it was good. Okay. So it's adhered. So then what I do, I just turn this around and I just get my scissors and I start following the shape of the heart and I trim this off. And be careful, you don't have to rush. And if for some reason you didn't quite follow the lines really well, that's okay, because you can go back and then see, like here, I'll go back. Because sometimes in certain angles, it's kind of hard to cut around it. And so now I can go like this. And there you have it. And then what I do after it dries up, then I just go over the edges again with a distress ink. Okay. Now at this point, you can add a rhinestone on it. And where's my little rhinestones? Well, they disappeared. Yep. Does that happen to you guys? It always happens to me. Now, I don't know where I put them at. I just had them here. I showed them to you. Oh, here they are. Okay. And then we can put a rhinestone right there. Now there was, sorry if I reach across here. I don't know what I did with that glue. Anyways, I wanted to show you a glue that I bought at the 99-cent store. And it's glue. It's not that big of a bottle. It's not, it's a little bit smaller than this. But it's to glue on rhinestones and what have you. On baseball caps, on denim jackets, on backpacks. And I said, oh, I'll give it a try for $1. What do I have to lose? I was really surprised it worked. So I'm going to go back and buy some more of that glue. There you go. And we have our finished little heart. Now, if you want to, you can make a hole with a hole puncher and then put on a grommet if you like. It's up to you. I didn't on these because it's easy to pierce with the garment pins or bolt pins, however you want to call them. It goes right through them easily, and because they're not heavy or anything like that. But you can do so. You certainly can do that if you feel it'll be more secure. You can use that. I just didn't. Okay, so that's how I did my paper hearts, my 3D paper hearts. Okay, and then of course, whatever you have, you can decorate with any way you want to. On this one that I sewed around, I already have this one here. What I did